colonialism and tribal societies, and in that we are on the topic changes in forest laws. We have discussed that topic somehow, but I am starting from there, that would be revised. So page number, students, your course book, and page number 43. Changes in forest laws. Students, if we talk about, in order to gain easy access of forest land and timber, the British government established a forest department in 1864. So British established forest department in 1864. Forest laws were changed. Certain areas of forest were declared to be state property by the East India. So East India Company formed a law of forest, and some land they captured as the government property of British India, and they passed Indian Forest Act in 1878 and 1927 and Madras Forest Act in 1882. So which curtailed the right to cultivation regulated movement. So right to cultivation was right of forest giver to do cultivation in forest, but British changed the forest policies and forest rules, and they passed some acts, including Indian Forest Act of 1878 and 1927 and Madras Forest Act of 1882, and by that it was stopped or prohibited the right of cultivation, and also regulated movements. All movements were regulated and restricted and prohibited. So that prohibition was levied, and by that levied duty on timber and other forest produce. And what the forest produce on them of forest timber or tribal people, they had to they were in good profit by selling their own timbers produce, but they levied some heavy tax on them, and that domestic produce of tribal people. So by that there was a huge loss of them. And if we see, so some forests were declared to be reserve forests, and some forests were declared as a reserve forest, means forest areas which enjoy special protection by the law of the land. So by the government, that area has to be a special protection, and that reserve forests were restricted and covered in protection. No one can do anything there. So by that many tribes protested against these laws, as they considered it to be their natural right to own the forest and their use. So they started protestation and protest against that, and by that scarcity of work for the tribals. So firstly they were in hand of exploitation of British, but at least they had works. But when they start protest, British starting made them unemployed. So by that the work or the scarcity of work started. So our topic, scarcity of work for the tribals. A situation of scarcity of work to earn their livelihood had to be faced by the tribals when the British snatched away their lands and they lost their free access to forests. So by cheating or to cheat, British snatched or took the land and money and all things of tribals, and by that the free access of forest also prohibited. By that they were not able to collect woods and sell in the market. They were not able to do cultivation in the forests. By that the scarcity of work and the employment was there. So if we see, the tribals did not possess the required skills for pursuing job in other sectors. They were hence bound to work as bonded laborers to the British. And as we know, tribals were not very qualified and educated that they can do any work nearby in any factory or near and there. So they they were bound to do as a bonded laborers, as a bound laborers in the hand of British in their own, agriculture or cultivation. So while some tribals started working in tea plantations, some got employment in coal mines at minimal wages. So somehow some tribals were migrated from there and started working in tea plantations, and some got employment in coal mines at minimal wages. Somehow they can survive themselves. So if we talk about our third topic, that is problems with trade. In the 18th century, Indian silk was in high demand. Abroad, the East India Company used the tribals such as the Santhals to rear cocoons for them. Once the cocoons were ready, the traders brought these from the tribals and sold to silk manufacturers at very high rates and made stupendous profits. So students, this is about silk. Those time silk was in high demand in market, European market, and that is why East India Company forced to grow cocoons, that is raw materials of silk, to Santhals, that were tribes. So once the cocoons were ready, the traders were bought these from the tribals. So after ready cocoons, they purchased that cocoons in low price and sold that cocoons, that raw materials of silk in European market at very high price. Therefore, that they get stupendous profits. That means huge amount of profits. So students, they manipulated or exploited our tribal peoples. They forced them to be a laborer and also to grow cocoons for them in very less price, and they sold in very high price. So the money lenders left the tribals with attractive loan offers. The traders offered to buy their produce and employed them as agricultural laborers in their fields with petty wages. So sometimes also money lenders offered loans, and the tribal people were forced to take that loans, and also if there is no land, so they had to work in the land of their own but in the hand of others, because they were rented their land or agriculture or field. So soon the tribals realized that they were being duped and exploited. So they understood that they were cheated and duped and exploited. Thus, duped means students cheated. So it is written there in your course book, PED. Duped means cheated. So students, they realized that they were dubbed in hand of British, and thus the manufacturers and middlemen such as the traders and money lenders made huge profits while creating cycles of debt for the tribals. The tribals therefore considered the traders and money lenders to their enemies. So students, as we discussed, tribals were exploited by British, that in less price they had to sell their raw materials like cocoons of silk. But that silk, that material, after purchasing, British sold in European market at very highest price, and they get stupendous profit or huge amount of profit. So these type of exploitations were there, and by that soon tribal people like Santhals and all realized that they are enemy, means British are enemy, or British people are enemy of Santhals, and by that some rebellions get started, some revolts were there. So money lenders take huge profits, or tribals get in the debt hand. So if we see our page number 45, tribal revolts. Before that we discuss I wish I knew, and before that we discuss activity 2, page 44. That is, imagine that you are a tribal involved in June cultivation and the government has forbidden you from cultivating in the forest area. What will you do? And what alternate means of So this activity you have to do in homework. And I wish I knew I'm reading. Draupadi Murmu, Governor of Jharkhand, is the first tribal woman Governor of India. So this is also a point and question. If we see our topic tribal revolts, so as we discussed, exploitation of British was have been over, and by that tribal revolt started. The secluded life of the tribals underwent vast changes with the advent of British rule. Commercialization of agriculture and enactment of forest laws to generate revenue resulted in the infringement of freedom and rights of the tribal communities by the colonial rulers, zamindars, traders and moneylenders. So students, commercialization of agriculture started, new forest laws generated. By that, tribals started losing their lands in the hand of British, and also infringement of freedom and rights of them. Infringement means students violation, or to reject something or to stop something. So that violation was there, and violation of rulers, violation of zamindars and traders and money lenders. But all these revolts were subdued by the British, as the tribals who fought with primitive weapons such as bows, spears, axes, and what is subdued, that is brought under control. So all rebels and all revolts were somehow under control, but has been remembered, and we see that they had some primitive weapons only. They had not guns or anything else to fight. They had only primitive weapons, some primary weapons like bows, you see bows and arrows, and spears and axes and arrows stood in complete mismatch with the sophisticated weapons of the British, and they were totally mismatched because British had some sophisticated weapons. What is sophisticated weapons? That means advanced weapons. So British had advanced weapons, and those tribal people had primitive weapons, primary weapons made by hands. That is why they are defeated by British. So we are talking about some tribal revolts in Eastern India. So East India consisted of a diverse tribal population in the regions of West Bengal. So the Santals were people of Jharkhand. Now we are talking about some East India, Eastern India's part. East India consisted of a diverse tribal population in the regions of West Bengal, Odisha, Bihar and Jharkhand. So if we talk about total East India, these four states majorly belongs to, and these tribal communities revolted against the British at various points of time, and even went to the extent of engaging in warfare to fight for their rights. So sometime there were some battles, there were some warfare also, activities that may lead to war or conflict. So they were engaging themselves in warfare because of exploitation of British. So these four states had some prominent warfares memories. And we talk about in revolts of East India. So in that Khond revolt of Odisha is prominent. So the Khonds of Odisha revolted against the British agrarian policies and taxation laws. They were skeptical about the appropriation of land by the British. So what is skeptical? That means having doubts. So the Khonds of Odisha had doubts about appropriation of land by British. That means process by which an unowned plot of land becomes the property of someone. So there were some unowned plot with whose having no owners in forest. So there were some unowned plots, and for that unowned plots who has no any owner, British government decided to give that on to someone. So this was something like cheating for them. So it was doubtful for them, and that's why they get revolts against them. And two revolts were led against the British by Dora Bisoi in 1836 and Chakra Bisoi in 1846. So in this simultaneous 10 year, two revolts was there. First was with Dora Bisoi and second was with Chakra Bisoi. So both the revolts were however suppressed by the British. A peace treaty was signed between them in 1848. But somehow those both revolts were suppressed or declined or destroyed, put an end to something forcibly. It was totally forcibly put an end. And after that we talk about revolt of Santhals. So revolt of Santhals we will talk in next video, students. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.